The bags are all
crazy idea.
How do we know that there's been no fraud? When Kathy Nicholas had the ballots in her office the whole time in wide open bags. How would we be sure?
Look, folks, we have to do our work here, okay?
That's what we're helping you. We want you to be accountable.
Yeah, we would like you to do your job.
Yeah, we'd love you to start doing it for once.
That'd be good. That'd be good. We'll help.
Okay.
The American style.
Look, we have staff here.
The Waukesha minutes aren't posted yet?
Yeah, that's a problem. The Waukesha minutes.
How many people do you want to have speak at one time?
As many as
You want
one,
to give me a chance
something.
to say
Yeah,
something?
we'd like to. Yeah.
Our staff needs to work here. This is not a public space for people to demonstrate. This is a public building for people to work in. Okay, so we need to ask you to.
Don't we have the right to petition our government or any department thereof? Or any department
Whose
thereof?
board?
Being the key.
Our board.
Whose board?
Our board!
May I just ask how?
Our board!
May I just ask how the election could be, the recount could be certified when the Waukesha minutes are not even available yet?
You can read about it.
Our board!
The minutes are not
board!
certification.
Our board!
Whose board?
Our board!
Whose board?
Our
We
board!
need to have them wait.
Our board!
Whose board?
Our board!
Whose board?
Our board!
Whose board?
Our board!
Doesn't, well, they haven't done everything they can.
No.
But doesn't Article 1, Section 4 say any department
When you
thereof?
review the Waukesha minutes, what will you do if it turns out that he didn't win? Will you decertify the election?
We have staff who are trying to do work in the office building, okay?
Are you familiar?
This is not an area for demonstration. It's an office building.
Are you familiar with the?
Yes, we do. We've been hearing that.
Are you familiar with the Wisconsin
You know what?
Constitution?
I'm sorry, but you'll need
You
to
know what? I'd
leave.
like to have my question answered. Are you familiar with Wisconsin
Private building, isn't it?
Are you
Private
familiar
company
with
runs
any
this building, it's not a
department
public building.
Are you familiar with where it says any
Whether
department?
it is or not.
We already have a company in here called Win Yourself. That's what made me
Now,
wonder.
are you familiar with any department thereof? Do you know what that means? Are you familiar with that?
This is not an area for public demonstration. This is an office building.
How can we get our voice heard?
Yeah.
But
You
you're
can
on
answer us. Why does Kathy Nicholas have special software?
Election
that
fraud
none
is
of the
kind of
other clerks have? We didn't get an answer.
We're not
to that.
going to conduct an interview out here, okay?
When are we
When
going
you're
to
gonna have
have
open
open
meetings?
Tell us when we're going to find out.
You can come to any board meeting. They're all open public
They
meetings,
were, but
okay?
apparently we couldn't talk at them today.
That's because what you were concerned about was not on the agenda.
How could that
When
happen?
will it
It's like
be?
only the most important thing happening.
When will it be on the agenda?
You need to hear us before July
Okay,
12th.
well, you know what? We need to ask you to leave.
Schedule a meeting, that's what they'll do. If you need
Will you schedule a meeting with us?
The board has a schedule for its regular meetings, okay? The meeting today was I can only answer one question at a time, okay?
Very linear.
The board had a special meeting today to talk about recall petitions.
Okay, and can
It
there
was
be a,
dedicated to recall petitions.
can there be
okay?
another special meeting very shortly to deal with
The board-
the issues of election integrity?
The board deals with those issues every meeting it has practically, okay?
But we want.
And is the public allowed not
Well,
only
you
to
can
attend but to
come-
speak?
Yes, at regular board meetings, there's a public comment section. Every board meeting except the ones that are dedicated to recall petitions.
And when is the next board meeting scheduled?
The next scheduled one, I think, is in August.
Okay, so that's after the recall elections,
The
presumably.
recall elections have not been scheduled.
I thought the 3 of them were scheduled for July
They're
12th.
planned to be scheduled for July 12th.
Oh, yeah,
They're planned to be scheduled for July 12th.
Because the Republicans aren't
That'll be
ready.
after, right?
You know,
Right.
Probably after the
it's pointless to, take 100 different questions from 12 different directions.
No, you're doing a good job of answering questions.
The
and that's-
point is-
we're just trying to find out how we can address the board prior to the recall elections.
You may not have, the board has had meetings all spring. And so
Okay,
you haven't,
until the
board had a
recount, we weren't
regular meeting.
aware of those problems, those open ballot bags. We weren't aware of those until the recount.
There was a board meeting last week.
Mike, can we schedule a private meeting, like a meeting with them?
Someone who would represent us?
No, the board meets in public. The board is subject to the open meetings law, like every other
Right.
state agency.
Okay, well, can we have a special
You
open
can-
meeting?
You can request whatever you want. It's not up to me to put the
Who's it
agenda
up to?
together.
Who do we need to talk to?
Why don't you send a letter or an email to our director, Kevin Kennedy?
Is he here now?
Yeah, he's here now.
Well, could you just go and tell him right now?
No, we have work to do, okay?
Well, that's the most important work.
That's what you're wondering
That's
why
your
they're not
opinion.
doing the work that.
You have no idea what work is going on here.
That's a problem.
Well, the more
We know what work isn't going on here. We already know that.
What's being done to make sure that the ballot bags are sealed in the future?
You know, it's all part of the recount process. Both campaigns had an opportunity to be there and inspect everything.
Nothing every day.
Okay, so that's part of
But
the
there's no
open
answers.
process. Use,
That's why we're here.
then so if either campaign, we are not on any side, okay?
It's supposed to be on the side of the people,
Cheating.
accountability.
Supposed to be on our side.
There's
You
still
might not
choices.
be on
I
one
mean,
side, but there's plenty
My
of
question
other
goes
people
back to the
point is-
Waukesha minutes.
my
If
point-
you're saying that the recount was the opportunity for the campaigns to make objections, then if you don't have the Waukesha minutes, that's a huge number of ballot bags that were open like
The
this.
certification, the certification is what is the official ballots. The minutes do not have to be in our hands in order for the
But if there
certification to be
was,
done.
so the fact that there are all these objections, you referred to the campaign's
It's up-
opportunity to
look,
make
look,
objections.
The campaigns, one of the two campaigns are the only people who can request a recount. One of the two campaigns are the only people who can go to court. If you think somebody should challenge the recount, you have to convince them to go to court. It's not up to us to go to court. It's not up to any of you. Well,
It's too late
a lot
for
of
that
people-
election, we're worried about the next one.
okay, we are too.
Yeah, well, there's not a single explanation for open ballot bags, duct tape ballot bags, except the freight carriers supposedly
Well,
did
and
it. Give
what
me a
about
break.
the machines that are being used
highway
illegally,
workers.
like Peshtigo?
You know,
I mean, I just combed through this
Okay.
season, 3,500 pages of minutes with about 50 volunteers, and I'm disgusted.
okay, that's fine. You can have your
And
opinion.
how can we be sure that this won't happen?
Not an opinion, it's a fact.
It's a fact of what your opinion is, Jenny.
No, it's a fact that's black and
Peshtigo
white.
is using illegal.
Well, what you stated was your opinion.
What the
about
machine is
about
right
The
and the
what
human
machine
being
is
isn't?
either legal or not.
If
Yeah.
you're
It's
broken,
not.
we're broken. If you're broken, Wisconsin is broken. If you're not collecting the vote, and
Wisconsin's
there's no
broken,
chain of
America's
custody
broken.
and no accountability, our democracy is broken.
You're appointed
You
by-
are our last check and balance right now, and you're not doing your job. You're
That's
sweeping
your
it under the
opinion.
rug. We don't want you to be on anybody's side. We want free, fair elections
fair is nice.
with a chain of custody and security with the ballot bags and open transparency,
You need
sunshine
to-
law.
Listen.
Please
if
go
I could-
home
if
with
I
a
could
guilty
respond to-
conscience and
Yeah.
If I
sleep.
could respond to
Maybe
the
don't
question.
even
The
sleep.
counties conduct the recount. The GAB does not conduct the recount. We supervise the recount, okay?
With special
The
software.
municipalities and counties document the chain of custody from the city to the county.
Oh,
The
because-
GAB is not involved in that process.
And what is the
What is it
GAB's
about?
role?
The GAB is to certify the official results. Now, that,
How many
as you
does it
see,
take
from
to-
all the minutes from around the state, they document the chain of custody, correct? You saw that in the minutes? If
Actually,
somebody,
not all of them.
if,
do
so-
talk about
okay,
it.
and
The
if
minutes were
somebody,
very poor.
if somebody had a problem with that chain of custody,
We do.
then,
We're
well,
here. We're here.
the problem is the statutes. We don't make up the rules. The rules are in the statutes, okay?
At
You-
your meetings, you've
The
amended
statutes-
rules.
the
Kathy
statutes-
Nicholas made it so that
The
she
statutes,
gets all the extra ballots and they just sit in her office.
The
That was
look,
made at one of your meetings.
the statutes set up the rules. The statutes say if somebody wants to contest a recount, they can go to court, but the only ones who can do that are one of the candidates.
So we're screwed.
Well, that's up to the legislature.